You never know how someone has been hurt on any level. You never know. You see them, they're smiling, you're thinking everything is great, but you don't know what trauma or something they may have gone through. And so you don't know if you were part of that or not. As people move on, they try to heal, but they have to know you can't heal if you're hurting.
Yo, what's up, everybody? You listening to the What I Know Now podcast about life inside the juvenile justice system and what it's like to turn things around after. I'm Bilal and I've been through it.
And my name is Cole Williams. I am an advocate, a father, and I entered into the Juvenile Detention Center because my son was there. We're going to sit down with young men and young women who've been through the juvenile justice system, just like Bilal. And we'll talk about how they got in, how they got out, and what they know now.
We're here to break down those walls, have some raw conversations, and hopefully change some lives along the way. Let's get into it.
Welcome back. We are excited to announce our next guest. Her name is Gayle Harvey, and she has a business, the Harvey Lynn Group. So we're excited to have her here to talk about her journey here with us today. So Gayle, how are you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm just excited to be here with both of you. And I love what you do, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us.
It's a pleasure. How has growing up in West Michigan influenced you and your passion with the work, particularly in spaces like real estate, advocacy, and local leadership?
So growing up in West Michigan really shows you a lot. It teaches you a lot. And it also confirmed my passion for all of the things that I do, especially in community. I do a lot of community work, and I understand the divides, and I work hard to mend relationships.
So, as the vice president of the Greater Grand Rapids NAACP, what does this role represent to you personally, and what kind of impact are you hoping to make through that role?
So I think that role is super, super important because we are in and around the community, and we have a mission as well. And this role allows me to speak about past and present injustices and to sit with people with whom this matters. So to be able to speak with them directly in the room.
Yeah, that's important.
Awesome.
Yeah, you active around several like powerful spaces, as you spoke about the NAACP, the city government, your group, the Harvey Lynn Group. What do you think it takes to build trust between the community?
So I think in order to build a trust, you have to want to build trust. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes hard work. But what I realize is you always have to be careful. If building trust is what you're trying to do, know that that's what you want to do and work with the changes that come with.
So you've worked closely with the GRPD on training modules and public safety initiatives, right? Mm-hmm. What should people understand about how public safety is trained, and how can that knowledge help build safer communities and interactions with the community?
So in order for me to do the work, I have to understand the work from each side. So I have to know what's going on public safety side as well as what's going on community side. It is two things that come together. And in order to build that trust in the community, you have to understand it. And there are families and people who love each one. So it's important to build from that.
Can you explain what the community informed training program is, and why is it important for both officers and civilians to understand?
Absolutely. Our CIT program is community informed training.
Okay.
It is different sessions and things that we bring from the community of concerns, and then I build them into modules and sessions and bring them to our public safety, and then we teach and they learn about that and they go through it. It's not mandatory, but they come. So they are interested in learning about it, and that's important for me. And that also builds a trust in a community, letting you know, here we are, let's learn together.
Yeah.
And that's what that is.
You use the word trust, and that's not. Why is trust so important when you think about our communities, our officers, public safety? Why is trust so important for you in the doing this work?
Trust for me, and when I look at that word for everyone involved, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's
Yeah.
a good question. Trust brings silence. In other words, no trust brings silence. And that's because people may be afraid to speak about what they want to speak about and be honest about it if they don't trust the situation they're in. So once you build that trust, and it's hard, especially if you have to do deprogramming from things that people already have in their mind and they've already been indoctrinated in their brains. So in order to do that, you have to come to where people are, and then you have to find out why they're there, and then try and build from that. So that's why I said, when you ask the question or when you put out there, you want this, understand what's going to go, through to get that, and then know that the result of that is going to require you to work with it.
So tell us about the Harvey Lynn Group. Why did you start this? Why is this so important to you? And how is it connected to law enforcement?
So it's not exactly connected to law enforcement.
Okay.
My company works with a lot. These groups I look to work with are reaching out to the community to assist in better communication, better understanding, and better engagement. So I work with consultants all around different areas with their expertise when it comes to community and engagement, and just allow people to tell them what it is they need. And based on that, try and build something that helps ease different traumas, teaches a different route, goes into different situations that they may be occurring in their lives.
Can young people participate in these trainings?
Absolutely. I'm all about the youth.
Okay.
I love because they're up and coming. So we have to include them. And I just remember when I was maybe 30 and I would be looking around at different things I wanted to participate in. And there would be people that were 70 and 80 in those roles and not taking on the young people to teach them. In our village, we're taught to each one teach one. So if I'm in this space and I've got young people that want to be in that space, I need to bring them along. I need to teach them, help them understand it, because at a certain point, I need to know when I can step aside and be confident that I've taught them what they need to know to go forward and continue the work that we've all started. And it didn't just start with us. It started years and years and years ago with our people.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I love that. What does it mean to respectfully ask questions or navigate difficult situations in ways that promote healing or resolution rather than conflict?
It means to be cognizant of one's culture and surrounding and upbringing. And when I say that, I mean, in order to know, you have to ask. But there is a way to ask. And what I always say is, I always want to treat people the way I want to be treated. I know you've heard that probably before, but how can I want you to respect who I am if I'm not going to respect who you are? So whether you treat me with that respect, which means acknowledging who I am and what I'm trying to bring here, whether I feel that or not, I still have to be who I am. And eventually maybe you'll be okay with that, but I can't just not do that because you're not doing that. I have to be true to what I am and do what I say.
That's good.
Yeah, you often speak about what it means to get along and how we define respect. In your review, how can individuals and systems better define these practices and values and implement them?
I'm sorry, ask that again. I'm sorry.
How do we define respect in your views, and how can individuals and systems better use these practices and values?
So to define respect, in my view, is to understand what someone is saying. Don't just jump to this or that because of what you've heard or what you think or the different stereotypes that are there. If you want to know and respect, take a moment to listen. Listen is going to be key to understanding what they have to say. And then when you listen and take that in and you mean what you do, you will respect that when it comes to interaction.
Gayle, now, why this work? When you think about all the work you could have done, why this path? What's pulling you to this work? Because we often sit in these spaces and we hear from folks and they begin to tell us their journey and how they got on this path. But why? Why is this so important to you?
So, as I mentioned, back in my early 30s, I just looked around and it just, I see people, I see things, I see organizations, and with that, begin a passion about working with the different cultures because we are who we are when we're brought up. We all have different lived experiences, and we all go through whatever we're going to go through, and the goal is to come out on the other side and be happy and understand what you went through to help you get to where you're trying to get. So my passion is working with our different cultures and helping them realize that where we came from was where we came from, but that doesn't have to stop where we can go. And if we can just for a minute try and see ourselves forward and not, I'm not saying don't look back. What I'm saying is take that into consideration, but let that be your passion moving forward as to the changes you want to make. Because if you look at that with equal passion about the changes, I think we can go far. And if you look at that and be honest about the relationships you're saying you want to build with the others who've done things to hurt you, that's important. So that's where I am. That's why I do it.
Ooh.
That's powerful.
Yeah, because you're also talking about communities that have been harmed, right?
Absolutely.
Communities that don't trust.
Absolutely, yeah.
For a variety of reasons that make sense why they don't, right? And you're talking about this. What I hear too is this idea of like being curious about change and being open to the possibility of not letting go of the past, letting that be a vehicle to help move you and catapult you forward, but being curious about the possibility of what can happen.
Exactly.
Right.
My whole thing is don't get stuck there. Mm-hmm. Don't keep this, and saying you want this. And then when we try and make this forward happen, you go back to this, but you did this, you did that, you did this. I understand that, and I am part of that because that's who I am. But I can't live in that. I have to move forward if that's what I say I want. And that means at some point I gotta trust that the difference we're gonna make means we move forward into that. And again, not forget where I came from and who we are. But at the same time, make that change and be about that change.
That was deep.
Yeah. You process it?
I had to take a minute. Can you take the next question? I had to process for it.
You said I had to process that.
Hey everyone, it's Nick here with your Delta Project News Break. Let's get into it. First up, some incredible news from inside our team. We want to give a huge shout out to Miss Shonda, who has officially stepped into our new role as program director here at the Delta Project. If you've ever met Miss Shonda, you already know that's her compassion, energy, and commitment to young people is unmatched. She's been walking alongside our mission for a long time, and this new role only strengthens the work we're doing together. Join us in showing some love, support as she takes on this new chapter. We're so proud of you, Ms. Shonda. Second, there's a major update out of Lansing that could impact how youth across Michigan experience the justice system. After serious complaints and concerns from counties and advocates, the state is working on a new system to guide youth incarceration decisions. The current tool or risk assessment system was supposed to help decide whether a young person should be sent to the detention facility, but many counties say it's confusing, outdated, and doesn't reflect what kids actually need. Now, Michigan is preparing to roll out of a new tool by 2026, one that's expected to center youth needs and community-based solutions more effectively. For us at the Delta Project, this matters because at the heart of our work is a belief that young people deserve care, not cages. Any effort to reduce unjust or misguided incarceration gets us one step closer to a system rooted in healing and hope. Lastly, we're keeping the spotlight on growing Boys to Mentors program. This initiative is creating spaces for young men to be guided, supported, and seen by mentors who know what it means to rise above and pour into the next generation. We're building something powerful, but we can't do it without you. So here's the call to action. Head over to the deltaproject.co to contribute today. Sign up for our newsletter while you're there so you never miss an update. This is about impact. It's about community, and it starts with us. That's it for the week's update. Until next time, thank you for being here.
Part of me is wondering, because our podcast, our North Star to the Delta Project is how do I become something I don't see, right? And so were there pioneers or mentors that have crossed your path that helped you see this roadmap to where you are and where you're going? And if so, what were some of the things that they said or did or provided for you to help you to shape what you're doing now?
For sure. So I was brought up in a 2-parent household, my mom and dad, and my grandparents, they all came from Mississippi, and they all traveled and settled here. And so in my life when I was young, my mother put me everywhere she thought I needed to be.
Did she?
I had 3 brothers, so I was quite the tomboy.
Okay.
Want to be with them, do everything they do.
Yeah.
And so she made sure that she put me here, she put me there, she made me do the arts. I play the piano. Yeah. She made me do theater. She made me do modeling. She put me everywhere that she wanted me to be. And she was also a Sunday school teacher. Okay. She was also a superintendent of her church. So we were brought up in the church. Okay. I also attended Catholic school and then later in life public school. So I see from both sides. My father also a pioneer. He opened different avenues for sports. He was really huge in making it's called the TNBA, and that is a bowling tournament situation. Okay. And it encompassed everyone all over Michigan, and they traveled and they did things, and it was something that it had not been done before. And this was like late 60s, early 70s. So they were pioneers in and of themselves. And so they instilled that in us. And we were kids. And you know, kids is bad sometimes. So I ain't trying to say I was perfect for sure. Got you. But at a certain time, what you were taught and what was instilled in you comes back. Yes. Is like, as they say, train a child. And so that's exactly what they did. And no, for parents and anyone that's in our village, there is no playbook for this. You just do what you think is right. And later, if it wasn't right, you just come to that, hey, you know what? I didn't do that correctly. My bad. I apologize. But let's mend our hearts and go on and move with that and see, can we get further in our future and build it better? So that's important when you see people in your lives that stick with you. Reverend W.L. Patterson, original at True Life Baptist Church. Oh my God, he was just amazing. We loved it. We wanted to go. We wanted to see our people. We sit in the back. Miss Lake Child, you better be quiet back there. I'm going to tell your mother, and all in front of the church. So they didn't care about that. It was about rearing us. It was about teaching us. And these children who have lost their way, because I see what I do, I see different generations that are missing. Yeah. And I know why they're missing. And it was intentional. Yes. And so now we're bringing them back. and we bringing them back in, and they need to know if mom is not here, guess what? Auntie Gayle is here. Guess what? Grandma G is here. We're going to embrace you, and we want to teach you, and we want you to grow. We don't want you to lose. And if you fall, guess what? We all fail. The goal is to keep it moving, though. Yeah, we won't pass judgment.
Thank you. Man.
Yeah, I heard you say something about generations missing. I got a kind of idea what you were saying, but could you like expand on that for those who may not know what you mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think in my life, I think a lot about what's going on. I'm way past 30. So I will say, when I think about it, my favorite time was the early 70s. And even now, when I think about it, I so wanted to be an adult in the early 70s because they was working it out.
They were.
They were family oriented. They meant to be together. They had cookouts. They had things that were for you and meant to be for you and your family and be together. And so they had fun. We had music. Man, we had theater. It was just amazing. If you have not seen the Summer of Soul, oh my Jesus, I can't tell you enough. Please see that. Summer of Soul. And that was just such a good time. And we were together and we were moving forward, and we were moving forward with who we were, exactly how we were.
Yeah.
There was no shame about who we are.
Yeah.
And then came the late 70s, early 80s, when it started to break down. And it started to break down with different things that had been introduced to our neighborhoods purposefully.
Yeah.
And when these things happen, you think, oh my God, this happened then, this happened then. Please know there is a study. And that study goes on for years and years and years.
Yeah.
To see how things will happen when you do things. And so when these things were introduced to us, it caused separation. And it caused a separation for different generations. So 2 generations that I'm familiar with when it comes to the parenting and the family and the goings and on are generally the 80s. Throughout the 80s, there was such a breakdown.
Yeah.
And the way I see that now is because I do houses. My company, I have a real estate business, and I sell homes to everyone, corporate and residential and commercial. And when I see the residential side, I'm missing that 30-year-old.
You're missing that 30.
I'm missing that 30-year-old because that's going to be the child of that 55-year-old. So that 50 to 55-year-old is going to be from that 80 era. And that's when things started separating, and we kind of lost our way, not on our own, but it happened that way. And so that generation had differences with their children, lots of separations, lots of things going on there. And so now they're struggling, but I see them coming back. So now they're buying homes and they have their families. They strong about what they believe in the family unit. They're getting back in church. And I'm not saying church is like the cure-all, but church, one of the goals of the church is and should be to make you part of their family. And we want to treat you as such. And be it whatever you believe in, you know that there's one that's all powerful. So whatever you call that is what you call it, and it's spiritual.
Yeah.
So that's important. Know yourself, be yourself, and then make into existence, speak existence on what you want to do.
For someone new to grassroots advocacy or even community work, where do you recommend that they begin?
So I recommend, if you want to be in advocacy, that it be something that's in you. You look at it, and if it excites you or it moves you to want to do something different, then that's good for that. As far as the community work, Whatever you see in the community that you'd love to be part of, your community wants you to be part of it. So if that's what floats your boat and excites you, then you do that. And know that you're not going to always start here. Sometimes you got to start down here and start there and grow there, because what you learn is it's not about you. It's not about you. It's so much bigger than that. And you can't do it by yourself. You have to understand what your team is all about, and you have to trust. Again, trust. There's that word.
There's that word.
Because if you have a team and you don't trust each other, then that's not seed for good growth. It's important.
Ooh. Can you talk a little bit about that starting down here and the time it takes? Because I think in this work too, there's this idea that you see folks in these positions and you're like, oh yeah, I can be that. And sure you can, but how much time does it take from here to scale up? Can you just speak to like the power of that?
Yeah. Because it's not going to be quick. It's never just quick. You look at it and you say, oh, that's what I want to do. And you jump in and you do it. It can take years. It can take years for change. For instance, we worked on a policy change because it was going to be good for our community.
Okay.
That change took like 7 years. It was years in the making. But it did happen in the end, but you can't get discouraged. Know that it's not going to happen just like that, more than likely. But if you're in it to win it, you stay the course and you speak what you know.
Yeah.
And you mean what you say.
Speak what you know and mean what you say.
Yeah.
That's old school values.
For sure. We got to have facts.
Yeah. Man. It says, so how do you hope your work continues to make a difference in the community long after you've stepped back?
I want the entire community and public safety to remember to start caring for each other. And the face hurts, because when you face hurts, you can heal. You have to face your hurt to heal and move past it. So I want the community and all our public safety to know that and remember that and feel that.
You know, I used to do spoken word poetry, and in that they would say remix, right? I need you to say that one more time. Like, you talked about care, but you said you got to face it.
Yeah.
Face the hurt.
Yeah. You never know how someone has been hurt on any level. You never know. You see them, they're smiling, you're thinking everything is great, but you don't know what trauma or something they may have gone through. And so you don't know if you were part of that or not. As people move on, they try to heal, but they have to know you can't heal if you're hurting. If this sore is still hurting me, it's not going to heal. I have to address the hurting part and clean it. And then I can work on healing it. So when you have been hurt for years or something has gone on in your life that has bothered you, you can't just bury it and move on, because you won't be successful. That'll always come back to you in your deepest, quietest moment. It's going to come back to you, and it's going to make you feel like I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not doing anything because this is happening to me.
Yeah.
So you have to address that. And that's with anything. And so when I look at our strides of our racial healing that's necessary, and I'll get in groups and I'm with people and they're angry and then they don't want to talk about this and talk about that, you have to talk about it. Because if you don't talk about it, you're not healing it. You're continuing the anger. And once you talk about it And I don't know, I'm pretty spiritual.
Come on.
And sometimes I think I'm doing this thing by myself and I got this going on and I'm doing this and something hit me and it'll be with me. And I'll be like, I can't do it. I'm just, what is it? But then finally when I can't do it, I'll do like, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when it comes in. And that's when my spirit said, girl, I done told you. It ain't about you. You can't do this. I have to help you. And so when my spirit tells me that, I step back and it's like a weight that's lifted. So when that hurt is done, you're able to get it out. I'm done with this. Now the healing process can begin because now your spirit going to allow it to heal. And so that's what I mean by the hurt. You can't, if you're hurting, you have to stop the hurt to continue the heal.
Is this baked into the Harvey Lynn? Is it baked into your?
It is.
It's baked in there. I sense it.
It is.
But
it absolutely
so
is.
it's not just about going and getting an education and utilizing the modules and taking that, but that all of that is baked into
yes, sir.
what the experience will be like.
Yes, sir. And I'm glad you mentioned that too on the education level because I am big on education, but I also know that education and higher learning is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And so again, we have to meet people where they are. Sometimes a trade might work for them. Sometimes they might want to start their own or they have their own ideas. And nothing is wrong or right. There is no playbook. So say what you want and then try to manifest that.
Whew. I don't know. I think our listeners may not get to feel what we feel, right? Yeah. Because there's a lot of energy that is being exchanged right now. So I mean, my hands are sweating.
Yeah, it's I went in a trance.
I know. I saw you over there. I'm like, oh, he gone.
You know what? You all are amazing. Y'all, you bring out good, you ask good questions and they're deep and they're meaningful and you mean it.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
Yeah.
And I love what you're doing. I do. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you want to take the time to share?
You have been very deep in asking me a lot of stuff. And I don't mind sharing.
Yeah.
So no, there's nothing else. So I will just take one moment to say this little thing is kind of off-putting, but it's something I be feeling right now.
Please.
So my youngest daughter is a sergeant in the Army. She's in the military.
Okay.
And last year she went to Iraq. Scared me to death. And so with that, I had to transition her family. She's married.
Okay.
I had to transition her family here because there's no one there for them once she left. And so I transitioned them, and my granddaughter at the time was 1.
Okay.
Just a little spitfire. And so we went through her words, her potty training, her first daycare, all of that in a year. And so my daughter just got back 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry.
3 weeks.
And so I took my daughter and my granddaughter back home. Okay. They were there in Georgia. And she said, Mom, we can be out somewhere and then it'll be late. And I'll say, okay, we get ready to go home. And she said, ready. And then she'd be in the back seat. And then when they pull up to the house, she has a fit, just, oh, no. And then she realized that's not home to her. Home is here with Gay Mom and Boo Boo and my little mom. And so with that being said, it's a learning that she has to have down there, but at the same time, I miss her dearly.
Yeah.
And they're transitioning just fine. She know now we're home. She right with her mama where she knows she at home. Oh yeah, she knows it. And when we get done, I'm gonna show you a little picture. It's just so funny as to her little personality. It's just
Well, what you just said is powerful because home is a really important place.
That part.
And if you don't have it, or if you've had it and it's been removed from you,
Yeah.
you know the difference.
You know the difference.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
again, that there encompasses our village
yeah.
and how we make each other feel okay and our
Yeah.
family members transition fine.
Yeah.
So when my daughter went to Iraq, she was not worried about
at
her
all.
baby at all.
Not at all.
She missed her dearly, but she knew she was going to be okay. Yep. And
And
so
that, Gayle, is what we have to create in this community.
A home.
A
Exactly.
Because a house don't make a home.
I love
Love
it,
that.
Luther.
Come on.
I love it. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Because if I could trust my children
Yes.
in the community,
Yes.
I don't have to worry and stress.
That part right there.
Yeah.
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 We
My
teach
job.
We
them.
teach them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Come on, Gayle.
Wow, I love
Come
it.
on.
I love it. Go on now. Go on.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing time.
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy to have been sitting with
Yeah.
both of you.
So thankful.
I
that you
appreciate
did.
what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Check out our programs on the Delta Project's website, thedeltaproject.co, and be sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.